So today I'm going to try again to record this experience with this app called First Steps, followed by First Contact. I've already lost track of how many times I've tried to make this video. The first time it did not record the audio, unfortunately, because it was the first time I actually opened up the Quest, jumped in, saw the record function, but didn't realize that I also had to enable the microphone. So it only recorded the in-game experience, not anything I was saying, which is unfortunate because that was my first time in VR. So you got to see, or you would have got to hear, I should say, my first impression of it, my honest first impression. Essentially, it was me saying, "This is amazing, I'm blown away," just constantly. I've since been in this thing multiple times. I've gotten used to it. It's still pretty, it's still amazing. It's just that initial shine that it had, it's kind of faded a little bit. Like all things that are new, the first time you experience it, it's going to be the most amazing, and then as you get used to it, it kind of, it fades a little bit. Still very impressive. But I'm going to show you, at least try to show you, the app First Steps, which is the one that they recommend that when you first try VR that you use, because it actually shows you or teaches you how to interact in VR. The next one after that will be First Contact, which is basically the same thing. It's a different app, but it's meant to do the same thing, kind of get you used to being in VR. Now I'm doing most of the talking now up front, because as soon as I jump into this app, there's going to be a lot of sound, and the sound is very loud. I have no way to really fix that or change that. And since I find that the microphone in the Quest is actually much better than the separate microphone that I have, I'm just going to use that. So whenever there's a quiet moment, that's when I'll try to talk. So first we're going to check out First Steps, and then we'll jump straight from First Steps to First Contact. I'll try to keep it brief. Last time I got a little caught up in it, and the video was too long and it actually caused problems. So we'll try to just keep it brief. I'm just going to keep it as a short introduction, show you a few things, then move on. Now the first thing you're going to see when I jump in here is it's going to get dark, and then it's going to be very loud. Maybe in editing I can try to lower that a little bit. We'll see how that works. But the idea here is they really throw this cinematic, over-the-top experience at you at first. I'm assuming it's to just really impress you. It did impress me when I first saw it. But again, after a few times seeing it, it's no longer as impressive.
Welcome to Oculus. After this tutorial, you'll be ready to explore. First, let's get familiar with the Guardian system. Look around you. This grid wall is the Guardian system. When you're near the Guardian system, the grid will appear. Let's try this now. Slowly walk to the glowing beacon. Stop when the grid appears in front of you. This grid shows the boundaries of your play area. Don't move or reach beyond it. Look around you. Stand in the glowing footprints on the ground. Face the screen. It's time to learn about your Oculus Touch controllers. Now, try pressing all of the glowing buttons with your thumbs. Try moving the thumbsticks around. The thumbsticks can also be pressed like buttons. Press them in until you feel them click. Next, use your index fingers to squeeze the triggers on your controllers. Locate the grip buttons and squeeze them with your middle fingers. Now let's see what your virtual hands can do. To make a fist, squeeze the grip with your middle finger and hold it down. To point, keep squeezing the grip and just lift your index finger. Now use your index finger to push the button in front of you.
Okay, hopefully she won't start talking again for a moment. So right now it creates this virtual representation of your hands. If you rest your thumbs on the inside of the controllers, you'll see it kind of lowers your thumbs. The same thing, if you just slightly touch the triggers, it does that. When you completely kind of squeeze the triggers, it goes further. And if you just squeeze the grip with your middle finger, you create that. So if you want to make a fist, you just pretty much bring all your fingers down, and now you have a fist. It's not the most accurate representation, because right now my two index fingers are actually touching, whereas the image shows that it's far away from each other. But it does the job. Now, when I first got into this, I didn't understand pushing the button. I know that sounds silly, or it might sound silly, but prior to this, I had gotten used to just having like a pointer, like a line that comes out from the controller, and you point that at what you want to interact with, and then you just squeeze the trigger and it would interact. I didn't realize that you actually had to make a pointed finger like this and actually touch the button.
To pick up an object, squeeze and hold the grip button with your middle finger. Try reaching out and grabbing one of these blocks.
Now, the controllers have, they have this function where they vibrate. So when I was actually pushing that button, it actually vibrated the controller just as I was pushing, to kind of trick you into feeling like you are actually interacting with something that is not there. As you can see, this table is not here. My hands go right through it. Same with this. It goes right through unless I use the trigger button where the middle finger is.
Release the grip button to drop it.
And now I'm holding it. And as I hold it, the controller vibrates just a little bit.
Your virtual hands can do just about anything. Go ahead, play with some of these items.
Now, one of the things you can do is pick things up and then throw them, as opposed to just dropping it. And it is a little tricky. It does take some practice to kind of get it to go where you want it to. I still I still find that impressive. But the first time I did it, I was just blown away by it. That did not work. As you see, that is not. Kind of have to follow through.
Looks like you're getting the hang of it. Here's a few more to try.
Now, the first time I tried this part, I was actually sitting next to a structure that when I tried to hit it, I ended up actually hitting the thing in real life. So do be aware of your surroundings when you get into VR for the first time. Well, every time, but the first time especially, because you might be so excited like I was that you're not really taking these precautions. You just want to throw the headset on and see what it's all about, and then very quickly you forget that even though in this virtual space there's nothing around me really that I can hit, in the real world there may be. For example, right about, let's say about here, yep, this would be the cords hanging down from my ceiling fan. Don't know if you can hear that. So I have to be aware of that. But usually you can just kind of do a quick, reach, and you can feel around and see that there's nothing there. Except for that. Yeah, that was not gonna work. Let's see if I could try that again. I still can't get the hang of that, by the way. Let's try one more time, real quick. See, the problem is, I'm just delicately throwing it up in the air, and yet it's going way farther than it should, because it doesn't know how much force I'm actually applying. Yeah, there's no way it would go that high in a real throw. It's just something you gotta get used to. Now this is kind of neat. So right now, I'm not... Oh, I can interact with it. That's strange. So I'm not touching the grip button, and yet I can still interact with it. Now let's see if it goes the same. See, with this, it goes right through. But as soon as I squeeze the grip button, which is where the middle finger is, it grabs it. And again, that also I found very impressive the first time. Now it's kind of I'm used to it. Oh, and there it goes. And those are just some things that you could do. Now this little blimp here is remote control. And the controls kind of mimic your actual controls that you're using. So this joystick right here lines up with the actual joystick on the controller. This little button here. Now there's actually a button above that, but on this controller it doesn't have it. On your real life controller it does. There's two buttons there, but the other button doesn't do anything. This one makes a blow horn. The trigger is the throttle. And the joystick turns it. And the fact that it actually interacts with your head and bounces off also I found to be kind of impressive. Let's see if the ball does that, because I never actually tried it. It does. That's amazing.
When you're ready to explore some new VR worlds, insert a cartridge into the console.
Okay. So that's just some of the things you can play here. Now this cartridge here is basically a shooting game, and this one, well, I'll show you that in a second. Let's do the shooting one quickly. Again, you actually have to physically push the button. Now we're all of a sudden in a much larger space, or at least that's what it feels like. Interact with, no, you still can't, just like you can't interact with that. You can push those buttons. Now when I first tried this, what I was most blown away by was the fact that when I actually shot the gun, I could follow the, it's not a bullet, it's like a laser or something. But I could follow it as it goes all the way down and actually interacts with stuff down there. So you get this depth that you won't see on a flat screen, that you're probably not able to see here. But in the headset, you have this 3 dimensions that's going on, and you have that depth perception that makes it feel like it's real. Now, this gun is supposed to be like a ray gun, but as you can see, the hand goes right through it. It does have a sight, sort of, but really, I guess the laser sight is the better option. See what I was talking about? How it interacts with that thing, that whatever that's supposed to be in the distance. Now, when you pull the trigger, the controller does vibrate a little bit. So, kind of gives you feedback when you pull the trigger. It's not like a real gun though. And this is definitely not going to feel like a real gun. This is just to show that you can do two-handed.
When you're ready to explore another virtual world, insert the cartridge into the console.
So that's an example of the type of gunplay. Now I hear that other games actually have much more realistic feeling guns to them, but if we're being honest with ourselves, if you have had experience with real firearms, this will never feel like that. It just won't. It's just that simple. You're gonna feel like, oh yes, I'm gripping, a pistol maybe, or a rifle, depending on what the situation is. And I'm pulling a trigger. But the feedback you're gonna get from it, there's no way it's gonna be realistic. But it's not gonna be any less fun. So now let's try this cartridge here. Now, when this actually starts, all the music is probably going to be too loud, It's probably going to drown out my voice, and I don't really want to yell into this microphone. So I'll let it kind of speak for itself. To start, you have to connect these, whatever they are, plugs, okay? Do they have to be in a particular order? That is a nut cycle. Let's reset. Oh, it's not going to let me. Oh, that's not good. Okay, hello. So basically, in a second, when I do interact with this thing, music is going to go, and it's going to get really loud, so I'll stop talking at that point. But this is to represent how you can interact with something that is giving a simulation of life. So, notice again, go right through him. He's not really there. In fact, in the real world where he is, there's a plant, a large potted plant right behind him. I don't know if you can hear me touching that when I pass through him. Alright, calm down. Fully, well, not fully, but he is interactive. I can move him around now. Guess I can do this. Very nice. Yeah, no, we're not doing that again. Now, I will say this: the first time I interacted, I didn't know what to expect, and a couple of times he actually steps forward. It steps forward, and seeing that coming towards you, at least for me, the first time, was unexpected, and I instinctively stepped back. There's nothing there. I mean, but your brain is being tricked into thinking that there is something there. And that is, I would say, the beauty of this headset, or at least VR in general. And now, we're gonna go back.
When you're ready to leave this tutorial, insert the exit cartridge.
Okay, so we're done with this one for now. We'll go back to the home screen or the home environment, and then we'll jump into first contact.
You've got the basics down. Time to explore all that VR has to offer. Have fun.
So that was First Steps. A nice little app. It's free. It kind of comes with it. And they kind of encourage you to use that first to get acclimated to VR. And then the next one is going to be First Contact. so this is first contact. I don't recall it being as loud, but again, if there's a lot of music or a lot of noise, I'll stop talking because it's just going to drown me out anyway. And then when it gets quiet, I'll talk again. Now this is already far different from the first experience. It looks more realistic, whereas the other one kind of, you felt like you were in a computer simulation of some kind, or in space, I guess. This is a lot more grounded in what you would normally see. This looks like a scanner. Now, I remember that you can interact with a lot more objects in here. However, some of the objects, once they hit the floor, they disappear and they're gone forever. There's a couple of tapes, which the last time I realized you can actually play them, but I dropped a few, so I didn't get to see it. There's some buttons here you can interact with. This guy is going to turn on in a bit. This is the main thing that you're going to interact with. Unfortunately, these cans are empty. I wonder. Yeah, they're empty. See, those kind of disappear, but they don't come back. So you gotta be a little careful with that. This thing's amazing. It's a car, and I'm guessing it's a representation of the one. Well, it's an RV. It's a representation of the RV that we're actually in, somewhat, at least. Let's not drop you on the floor. There we go. See, it has, I don't know if that's supposed to be a light, the skylight, or what. But what's amazing, which I don't know if you saw that, was that it rolls. That is, that just blows my mind. The kind of, that's detail in there. Now the wheels aren't turning, but I mean, what, you can't expect too much, right? Okay. So let's put you here for now. Gonna fall off. You're gonna fall off. Alright, if it falls, it falls. Now, this thing, I guess you're just supposed to, I don't know. I don't think it actually does anything other than that. But this you can put tapes in to watch. In a moment, this is going to be a big deal. Now, I wonder if I can watch before I mess with him. Maybe I can. Let's try that. Oh, yes. Okay, come on. Come on. No? I guess... Wow. I think he powers it on. Yeah, so I gotta deal with him first. Okay. Now I figured out that if you don't wave back, he doesn't come out. You actually have to wave. So you're interacting with it in that sense as well. Okay, I think this is what powers everything. There we go. Now everything is on. Oh, and it got much brighter in here. So, give me a second. Okay. Alright. just want to try this real quick. I'm gonna turn on now. Yeah. So basically, this is surveillance, a surveillance video of this area, and whatever that thing is, it's like a giant chicken. It messed with stuff and created a mess. Where's the camera that I hit? Huh. Maybe I knock the camera down? Alright. Oh, that tape's gone forever. I'm watching a TV screen and a video inside this headset. That still blows my mind. That's just the and now that tape is gone forever. There was this one. Are the credits? I think that might be the credits for the people who were involved with this. Yeah. That's what that is. Alright. It would be nice if more stuff happened, but... Okay. Is that it? Apparently so. That's the one tape that I didn't get to see. Alright. Fair enough. Let's do what he wants me to do. So this scanner looking thing is actually a 3D printer, it seems, of some kind. That's neat. That really is. Still don't know why it floats in the air. Oh. Hello. Relax. Created some noisemakers, but I am still just amazed by that. I'm sorry to do this to you. Oh, apparently he liked that. I don't know what that one does. I know what this one does. This one's gonna create a gun. It kinda looks like... Oh, these butterflies are getting on my nerves now. Kind of looks like some weird type of laser tag, old-fashioned laser tag or something. Okay, he's panicking. And you can actually interact. Now the thing is, They're Nerf darts. I'm sorry. As you can tell, I'm not... Okay, that I'm actually sorry about. I wasn't sorry about this, but I was sorry that I shot the butterfly. Oh, you're okay. Now this is kind of cool. Do they come back? I don't think they come back. Oh well. With that? It does. Does it interact with that? It also does. Care about these. That's gone. So these are basically the same things from the other game. They don't quite move the same way. Trick is to get one out that window. There we go. Nope, it's stuck. Alright, I got one more. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna very carefully walk past this. Okay, it's the little things that are impressing me right now. That this interacts with the table. That doesn't exist. And the ball. Alright, let's try not to hit anything. I'm looking down because what you can't see is that there's an outline of my the garden, which I don't think I mentioned earlier. They mentioned it when they said look around you. You couldn't see it, but when you're actually wearing the headset, it shows you like this dotted grid line of your actual boundaries, the ones that you set up to represent your walls, so that you don't go past and actually punch a wall or walk into a wall. So, I've been turned around too many times. Okay, that way is... So this is gonna be a wall right here, just a little bit beyond it. Let's see if I can do this. Really? I'm gonna put this range on this. Oh well. I tried. Still can't interact with him. Okay. Alright. What's the last one? Did that one. Did that one. Okay. Can't remember, but I think this one actually ends the experience. So let's take one last look around just in case. So many details in here. In case you're wondering, if you go towards that end, eventually you kind of can turn the corner and then there's just nothing there. And you can't really interact with anything over there either. This is messing up the gravity. I forgot about that. So if I push this button, it starts spawning things. that's the one that ends the program. Alright, well, that's first contact. And we're back. So that was First Steps and First Contact, two free apps that kind of come along with the Quest. And again, it's just meant to kind of introduce you to VR and get you kind of acclimated to interacting with things that aren't really there. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. Subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care.